Hello and welcome to the Industrial Tundra, a level that combines themes and elements of tech and ice and snow. Here we find ourselves at the beginning of a platform. To the left of us is a wall, meaning we can't go in this direction. Instead, we should head towards the right, where there's a more open space. We soon find ourselves here in a blockade, where the player will learn how to jump in order to progress. They will also encounter spike traps throughout the platforms, so they have to learn how to jump right at the edge, otherwise they die immediately and go to the starter level. They'll also encounter those little electrical enemies there. They're pretty easy, they only head towards one direction, and they could be killed with one shot. They'll also encounter enemies that drop down spikes, kind of like icicles falling from a little cavern. Also find traps with these spiked balls on chains that swing from left to right, so players will need to learn how to stay in the middle of the ball in order to be safe. We'll also see that there's more of those falling spike enemies, so players will need to learn how to dash through them. We'll soon find ourselves here at a checkpoint, as well as a conveyor belt to the right of us. The conveyor belt has these large yellow arrows that head towards the right, indicating the direction which they're going. If players sit on them, they'll move automatically and head right into some spike traps. So, players will need to learn how to jump right on the edge of the platform, and also time themselves right. They don't want to go too early or too late, otherwise they'll hit the spikes. Now there's another trap here, kind of like a claw coming down to hurt the player. Takes away a good chunk of health, so players either need to dash or try to avoid the claw traps. Here we got another enemy that can fly and can shoot some balls. Need to learn how to dash. Encounter this electrical enemy once again, and we'll soon find ourselves in a funnel that heads downwards. Player will go down here. We'll find this enemy again, unless you find a door that is locked. Can't enter here, so we might as well go to the left. It's a nice chunk of health here, just in case some mistakes happened earlier, as well as from encountering these enemies. As you saw earlier, there was a snowman enemy to fit the Tundra theme. I'm gonna go towards the left here. We'll find some more falling spikes, as well as some spike balls. We gotta time ourselves right, otherwise we get hurt like that. Then we head downwards towards these steps. We don't want to get too impatient, otherwise we get a lot of damage. Here we find ourselves at another checkpoint, just in case we accidentally hurt ourselves with these spikes, so we won't have to go back towards the starter level. Instead, we start right here again. Here we go into this room, filled with some turrets that shoot 3 balls in an arc. Players need to be careful of those. And we'll find ourselves a blue key here. Players will find out that this room has nothing left to give. There's nowhere else to go except to go backwards. So we go backwards on this conveyor belt. You have to be careful, of course. Encounter the enemies again as they respawn. Also some health respawns too, which is good. Then we go climbing up here. We have to be wary of the spike balls. Watch out for the timing. Step back up again. And head towards the right. Back where we came from. We could avoid the enemies too if we want. And now we find that the door opens. And we reach another checkpoint. In this section, we are introduced to some electrical currents that shoot at their own time and in one direction. If we get hurt, we get a little chunk of health taken off. So we gotta be careful not to head into too many of those. We'll eventually find an upgrade for a fire blaster, which is very effective against enemies, particularly ice types. And we'll find some more conveyor belt platforming. And of course some enemies that might try to knock us off right into the spikes. Here we got some steps. We gotta be careful of the electrical currents here. There's some health, just in case there's some fumbles. Like that. Some more health. Of course, some enemies. Next section here includes some more platforming. Some spikes riddled along the down side of the level. As we're platforming, we gotta be careful along the edges, otherwise we get hurt by spikes. Sometimes you could get knocked off and head right into the spikes and head right back to the checkpoint. Here's another checkpoint. You can learn how to dash here in order to avoid obstacles. We're heading right down the level again into some more traps and enemies. Enemies could sometimes drop pickups to power up your blaster. Got some more health here, just in case for more fumbles. Of course, you gotta be careful. You want to go too hastily into these traps, otherwise you lose a lot of health. Here we reach another checkpoint into another platforming stage, where this time the chain balls are now on the ceiling, so we have to be careful with our jumps. Like that, we could get knocked down, land right into the spikes, and there will be no way to get up. We have to start all over for the checkpoint. Of course, it's good we still have our upgrade, because we don't want to hit back to get it up again. Got some more enemies here. And now we head into this long corridor. And we encounter a pickup that gives us maximum health and maximum energy for a power-up, as well as a checkpoint and the boss door. Just in case we happen to die, we can restart at the checkpoint instead of the level. Here you notice there's some platforms, and we'll see momentarily the ability that this boss has in order to summon some icicles in the ceiling and have them drop down on the player. So these platforms can be useful as a means of cover. This boss can also use his power-ups to freeze the player, but thanks to our fire blaster, we're able to defeat him easily.